The Anderson family estate's grand dining room practically dripped with old money. Crystal chandeliers cast judgmental shadows across the massive mahogany table, while oil paintings of stern-faced ancestors watched from gilded frames. My father, William Anderson, sat at the head of the table in his bespoke Italian suit, his silver Rolex catching the light as he drummed his fingers impatiently. Mother perched beside him in Chanel, her perfectly manicured nails wrapped around a crystal wine glass, while my siblings arranged themselves according to their perceived importance. I arrived exactly on time, dressed in deliberately modest business casual attire, a simple blazer and slacks from a mid-range brand. My brother James, wearing a suit that probably cost more than most cars, immediately smirked. The prodigal daughter finally arrives. Sarah, my father's voice carried that familiar tone of disappointment. Sit down. We need to discuss your situation. I took my usual seat at the far end of the table, noting how they'd positioned me as far from the power center as possible. The housekeeper, Maria, placed a water glass in front of me. No wine, apparently. I suppressed a smile as my phone vibrated silently in my pocket. Another acquisition alert. Do you know why we called this meeting? Mother's voice carried practiced concern. Before I could answer, she continued, We're worried about you, dear. 32 years old, and what do you have to show for it? James leaned forward, his Patek Philippe watch prominently displayed. Everyone in your coding bootcamp class has real jobs now. Morgan's working at Google, isn't she? While you're still doing whatever it is you do. Consulting, I replied calmly, taking a sip of water. My other phone, the secure one, vibrated against my ankle. The stock transfer must be complete. Consulting, my sister Emma repeated with a delicate snort. She adjusted her diamond necklace. A gift from our parents for making junior partner at her law firm. Is that what you call tinkering with computers in your apartment? Father raised his hand, silencing the room with practiced authority. Sarah, we've been patient. We've given you time to find yourself. But this has gone on long enough. You have no career, no assets, no future plan. You're still taking the bus, for God's sake. The bus is quite efficient, I noted, checking my simple Timex watch. The board meeting would be starting soon. Efficient. James laughed. Yesterday I saw you waiting at the stop in the rain. In the rain, Sarah. While I drove past in my new Tesla. We've decided, Father continued, that it's time for intervention. Either you accept a proper position at Anderson Holdings, starting in the mailroom like everyone else, or we're cutting off your trust fund access. I carefully maintained my neutral expression, though inside I was counting down. The press release would hit any minute now. The mailroom would be good for her, Emma added helpfully. Teach her the value of real work. Mother nodded sympathetically. We're doing this because we love you, dear. You need structure, guidance. You can't keep wasting your life on these computer games. My phone buzzed again. Right on schedule. What do you actually do all day? James pressed. Besides waste your coding degree on freelance work? I took another sip of water, noting the exact moment when all their phones began to buzz simultaneously. The chandelier light caught the edge of my watch, the simple Timex face concealing the $2 million collector's piece underneath. Actually, I said quietly, I've been rather busy. Their phones continued buzzing. Emma checked hers first, her perfectly plucked eyebrows shooting up. James fumbled for his device while Mother's face went pale. Father was the last to look, his features freezing as he stared at the screen. The breaking news alert glowed on their displays. Tech's most secretive CEO revealed. Sarah Anderson, the phantom billionaire behind Quantum Industries' $4.2 billion empire, finally steps into the spotlight. I stood up slowly, straightening my modest blazer. I believe that's my cue. I have a board meeting to attend. I paused at the door, turning back to the stunned silence. Oh, and about that trust fund? You might want to check who actually owns Anderson Holdings now. The sound of Mother's wine glass shattering against the floor followed me out. The silence in the dining room shattered as every phone in the family group chat started ringing simultaneously. CNN, Forbes, Wall Street Journal. All pushing the same breaking news notification. My father's hands trembled as he clicked the Forbes link, his authoritative voice now unsteady as he read aloud. Sarah Anderson, dubbed the Phantom of Silicon Valley, has finally revealed herself as the founder and CEO of Quantum Industries, the revolutionary AI company valued at $4.2 billion. The notoriously private tech genius. This is impossible, James interrupted, frantically scrolling through his own phone. It must be another Sarah Anderson. The family's personal assistant, Jennifer, burst into the dining room, her professional composure cracking. Mr. Anderson, sir. The office is calling. Quantum Industries just acquired a controlling interest in Anderson Holdings through a series of shell companies. They're saying your daughter is the new majority shareholder. Father's face went ashen. Sarah. I calmly pulled out my second phone, the secure one, and pressed the intercom. Send them in. The dining room doors opened as my executive team entered. Michael Chin, my CFO, led the group in a perfectly tailored Tom Ford suit. Ms. Anderson, the board is waiting. We have the Singapore merger to finalize. What Singapore merger? Emma whispered, her legal mind finally catching up. The one you've been trying to block for your client, I replied softly. Remember that mysterious competitor who kept outmaneuvering your firm? Emma's Mont Blanc pen clattered to the floor. You're the one who acquired your client's company last week. I smiled. Yes. Your senior partner will be calling you shortly, I imagine. Mother gripped the table edge. But we've never seen you in any business meetings, any social events. My chief of security stepped forward, opening her tablet. Security footage began playing, showing me at various high-level meetings over the past 5 years, always in the background, always overlooked. Boardrooms, tech conferences, private equity summits. I was there, I said. You just never noticed. Too busy watching James show off his new cars or Emma announce her promotions. The coding boot camp, James muttered, was a cover. I already owned the company running it. I checked my watch, the real one now, no longer hiding its true value. By the way, that Tesla you love showing off. My company developed its new AI system. You're literally driving my technology. Father found his voice again. But, the bus, the modest apartment. My executive assistant, Sarah, stepped forward with a leather portfolio. Ms. Anderson's apartment is actually the entire top floor of the building. She owns the complex. The bus stop is directly outside the secret entrance to her private underground garage. Her car collection is extensive. The Christmas party, Mother suddenly gasped. Last year when you couldn't attend because of freelance work. I was closing a $3 billion merger in Tokyo, I confirmed. Those computer games paid for the jet I took there. The room fell silent as the TV on the wall automatically turned on, one of my company's smart home features. CNBC's breaking news banner scrolled across the screen. Quantum Industries CEO Sarah Anderson named Forbes 30 Under 30's top entrepreneur. Net worth estimated at $3.7 billion. James slumped in his chair. All those times we made fun of your little consulting business were times I was building an empire, I finished. Those late nights you mocked? I was developing patents that are now worth billions. That wasted coding degree? It revolutionized artificial intelligence. My phone buzzed again. I glanced at it and stood up. Now if you'll excuse me, the actual board meeting awaits. Oh, and Father. I paused at the door. About that mailroom position at Anderson Holdings. I'll have HR send you the new organizational chart. You might want to update your resume. The executive team followed me out, leaving my family staring at their phones, watching their world reshape itself around the truth they'd been too dismissive to see. As the dining room doors closed behind us, I heard Mother's faint voice. She's richer than all of us combined. My CFO leaned in. Ms. Anderson, shall we tell them about the space program? I smiled. Let's save something for tomorrow's headlines. 3 days after the revelation, I sat in my real office. A glass and steel sanctuary 40 stories above the city. The wall of windows offered a commanding view of the skyline, including the Anderson Holdings building, now sporting the Quantum Industries logo. My family had requested an urgent meeting to discuss recent developments. This time they would come to me. At precisely 2 p.m., my executive assistant led them into the conference room. Gone were their casual displays of wealth. They entered like chastened schoolchildren. Father's confident stride had vanished. Mother's perfect posture showed cracks. James and Emma, for once, weren't competing for attention. The Anderson family, Ms. Anderson, my assistant announced formally, unable to hide her slight smile. I let them take in the surroundings, the advanced holographic displays, the awards lining the walls, the Forbes cover featuring my photo. Through the glass walls they could see hundreds of employees at work, all wearing Quantum Industries badges. Please sit, I gestured to the leather chairs. I believe this is a better venue than the family dining room. Mother clutched her handbag, last season's model, I noticed. Sarah, darling, we've been trying to reach you. I've been busy, I replied, gesturing to a holographic display showing Quantum stock price soaring. The announcement created quite a buzz. Our market cap increased by another $1 billion yesterday. We didn't know, Father said quietly. All this time. Clearly. I pulled up another display. Now let's discuss the new reality. First, Anderson Holdings. As majority shareholder, I'm restructuring the company. Father, you'll retain your position but report to my board. James, your VP title is now probationary pending performance review. James, who'd spent years mocking my lack of business sense, simply nodded. Emma, I continued, your law firm's merger and acquisition division now reports to Quantum's legal team. That Singapore deal you tried to block? It's proceeding under new management. Emma's face flushed. The senior partners already called. They want me to be the liaison with your company. Smart of them. I pulled up another document. Now about the family estate. Mother's hand trembled. What about it? The trust that owns it was part of Anderson Holdings. Which means. I let them connect the dots. You own our house, Father whispered. I own everything, I corrected gently. But unlike some, I don't believe in using property to control family members. They flinched collectively at the reference to their earlier threats. Here are the new arrangements, I continued, sending documents to their phones. You can keep your positions, homes and lifestyle, with conditions. Father, no more nepotism in hiring. James, you'll attend actual business training. Emma, your pro bono work increases to 30% of your billable hours. And Mother? James asked. Will channel her social influence into our STEM education foundation for underprivileged girls. Starting with the coding bootcamp she once called a waste of time. Mother dabbed at her eyes with a monogrammed handkerchief. We were so wrong about you. Yes, I agreed simply. You were. The bus. James started. Was a choice, I finished. Like my modest clothes and small apartment. Success doesn't need to be shouted. Real power speaks for itself. A gentle chime interrupted us. My assistant's voice came through. Ms. Anderson, the NASA team is ready for the quantum computing presentation. Thank you. I stood up. I trust everything is clear? They nodded, still processing their new reality. One last thing, I paused at the door. Family dinner continues but with changes. No more assigned seating. No more status games. And definitely no more lectures about wasting potential. Where will we meet? Mother asked quietly. I smiled. The penthouse of this building. I believe the view will remind everyone of our new perspective. As they filed out, Father lingered. That day at the bus stop in the rain, you saw James drive past? In his Tesla. Yes. I was on my way to buy the company that makes them. He shook his head slowly. We raced you to chase status, but you built something real instead. I'm sorry we didn't see it. The best revenge isn't showing off wealth, Father. It's using it to make a difference. I gestured to the NASA presentation waiting on my screen. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a space program to revolutionize. As the door closed behind him, I heard James ask Emma in a hushed voice, did she say space program? My assistant entered with a knowing smile. Shall I prepare the press release about the Mars project, Ms. Anderson? Not yet, I replied, watching my family's reflections in the window as they left the building. Let them adjust to earthbound revelations first. Space can wait until next week's dinner. 3 hours after my family left, I stood at the window of my office, watching the city lights flicker to life in the dusk. The notifications hadn't stopped. 2,847 unread emails, 143 missed calls, and trending on every social platform. But that wasn't what occupied my thoughts. My private elevator chimed. Maria, our old housekeeper, stepped out. She'd been my first ally, my secret keeper for years. They looked quite shaken when they got home, she said, setting down her signature chamomile tea on my desk. Your mother went straight to her room. First time in 20 years I've seen her miss her social club meeting. I smiled, remembering how Maria had covered for me during late-night coding sessions, bringing coffee to the basement where I'd built my first servers. How's Jenkins handling the new security protocols at the estate? Your father nearly had a stroke when his own fingerprint wouldn't open the front gate. Maria chuckled. Had to wait for clearance like everyone else. My phone buzzed. A text from James. Just found out you own the luxury car dealership where I bought my Tesla. And the racing track I've been bragging about being a VIP member at. Speaking of revelations, I turned to my desktop, pulling up surveillance feeds. How's Emma doing with her new reality? Maria looked at the screen showing Emma in her law office. Partners stunned as she uncovered that their biggest clients were my subsidiaries. The intercom buzzed. Ms. Anderson, the Singapore team is ready for merger approval. Put them through, I said, walking into the hollow room where 3D executives appeared. And your mother's charity board? I asked. In chaos, Maria replied. Their main donor is the daughter they ignored. A message flashed. Father, just saw your name on the deed to my first office building. The one you couldn't afford. Ms. Anderson, my CFO's hologram said, Project Aurora is ready. I nodded, but a news alert lit up. Quantum Industries confirms quantum breakthrough. NASA partnership sealed. Maria touched my shoulder. Prepare the penthouse for family dinner? Yes, I said. But first, send them front row seats to tomorrow's space program launch. The press will love that, she smiled. I sent a final message to the family chat. Tomorrow 9 a.m. Quantum Auditorium. Press well. And James, I own the suit brand you're shopping. Time to show them what wasting time with computers really means, I told the holograms. Now Project Aurora. That night my tower lit the city, the same one I bought when they called me worthless. In the glass, I no longer saw their disappointment. I saw an empire builder. Your father's assistant called, mine said. Resume. Tell him no, I replied, watching the quantum logo glow. And remind him we start at 9 sharp. I don't wait for latecomers. Across the skyline, Anderson Holdings stood dark, its name already fading. By morning it would carry mine. They underestimated me. My silence built an empire.